This video is sponsored by Carnivore Companion. Hey there, my meaty friends. This is Reed, aka CarnivorousChef. I know for a fact that everyone needs a treat from time to time. If you're not one of those people, feel free to let me know in the comments. But for the rest of you, throw a like on this video if you feel the same way. Whenever I go off and eat something that's way outside of the diet, I end up regretting it for a few days at a time. But what if I didn't have to? What if I could feel like I'm eating something that looks and tastes kinda like a cinnamon roll? I think I will. If you passed by a Cinnabon in your local mall recently and just had some full body convulsions to stop there, maybe it's time to try these. You don't have to sneak in to make these, but you can if you want to. Grab a bowl and magically add in 5 ounces of ground pork rinds. I suggest using the plain flavor here. Next up, add in 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder and fork that in there real good like. After that, grab 5 eggs. When you grab them, smack them onto a flat surface. This will breach the membrane of the egg, allowing you to open it up completely. Drop in the contents of all eggs into your pork rinds along with 1 teaspoon of your choice of sweetener, if you're using any. You're going to want to fork this pretty hard swiftly to get it combined. Once you have, set it aside to allow everything to absorb. Now, we need to work on the buttery cinnamon center. Take 1 stick of butter and melt it into a bowl in any way you can. Add in a pinch of salt along with 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Then, if you're using sweetener, add 1 to 1.5 tablespoons worth. Block the view of you mixing it from your camera while you mix it up. I set mine aside while I pulled out a baking sheet lined with a silicone baking mat. Pour your pork rind mixture onto it and spread it out onto a nice rectangle. Like always, you can be as meticulous with this part as you want to be, but just make sure it's rectangular at the end. Place this into an oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 176 degrees Celsius for 5 to 7 minutes or until the batter has just set. While that's in the oven, let's whip up this icing. Get a bowl, add in 2 heaping tablespoons of collagen, then 3 tablespoons of a sweetener of choice. Follow this up with a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract, a small pinch of salt, and then 3 tablespoons of heavy cream. Try not to be too much in shock while you're whisking this. I was shooting in the dark just a little bit here, but I had a feeling it would work out. I just didn't think it'd work out this well. I pulled out my pork rind plate about 10 minutes ago and let it cool off so I could handle it. Also placed my butter mixture in the fridge for some reason and it hardened a little bit, but that's fine. Yours should be still rather liquidy if you left it out. Spread the butter and cinnamon mixture on top of this by hand. Leave about 1 inch on one end for rolling it up. Once all of it has been applied, start rolling it up. It may feel like it's not going to cooperate at first, but just keep going. The bigger the roll, the more steady it gets. Once you get to the end, press on it firmly for about 1 minute to make sure it stays together. When you're cutting this, just do your best to get even cuts. The recipe should yield 6 of what I'm calling normal size cinnamon rolls. But you can get 8 small cinnamon rolls, 4 large rolls, or even 2 burritos. Plate these puppies up and let's pour over our collagen frosting. I just went ahead and used all the frosting I had because I didn't want to sit there and eat it out of the bowl. I'm extremely happy with how these turned out. Let's take this first bite for my Patreon community. Whether or not you're using sweeteners here, I think you'll enjoy these. The form factor and texture are just a unique experience whether they're real or carnivore. Don't miss out on this one. You could be a unique experience too if you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Check out our newly released seasoning Steak Dust along with our flagship seasoning Smokestack and our bestseller Collagen. Use the code CCYouTube10 at carnivorecompanion.com to save 10% off your first order.